Hello reader friends. With winter and like the holidays approaching, I just thought it'd be really fun to do like a winter slash holiday themed TBR and like book recommendations video. I haven't read like a solid chunk of these, but I have read a few of them, hence why it's like a TBR video and like a book recommendations video, because even though I haven't read a majority of these books, it still gives you a few like good ideas as to what has like some winter and like holiday elements. So I only have like rom-coms, thrillers, and fantasy, because I don't really read much like general fiction, and I haven't really found many like sci-fi books that are like super wintry. So for me, in like the winter time, I think like rom-coms and thrillers and fantasies are like the most fun to read. So with that said, I'm gonna start with my rom-com stack. I only have a few actual physical copies of these. A lot of them are actually on Kindle Unlimited, which is nice because if you have Kindle Unlimited, you have access to a lot of these books without actually having to buy them. So the first one that I have is The Plight Before Christmas. This one I talked a little bit about in my book haul video, so if you want to get like an in-depth explanation of the synopsis, like definitely go watch that video. But this one pretty much is about our main character Clark. He's having an annual holiday meltdown. I think his ex shows up on his doorstep for Christmas because somebody didn't get the hint and like invited them, I don't know. And so there's just like a bunch of chaos before Christmas, pretty much. So I just thought that'd be really fun. I've seen really good reviews about it. And the cover is just so much fun. Like, this just looks like chaos to me, and I'm living for it. The next one I have is Holiday Romance. And this one, a lot of my Booksta friends have been telling me that the writing and like the humor kind of reminds them of Emily Henry. So if you're a big Emily Henry fan, then I feel like you would really like this one. I really love like traveling elements around the holidays, especially in books. So this one is about these two, I think they're these two friends. Once a year for the last 10 years, they've spent 7 hours and 15 minutes sitting next to each other on the last flight before Christmas, from Chicago to Dublin. I think this is like opposites attract, because I think he's very like Christmassy and holiday spirit and she's not. But then I think like a freak snowstorm grounds their flight, and instead of her like going and doing her own thing for the holidays, she's like determined to help get him home for the holidays. I don't know, but I've heard really good things about this. I've heard it's very cute. Everybody really loves this one for Christmas, so I'm very excited. I think this is the first one I'm gonna read out of like all of these. The next one I have is The Christmas Fix. This is a Lucy Score book, so if you really like Lucy Score already, I think you'll like this one. This one's about our two main characters, and one of them is a single dad and like a town manager, I think. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was like some kind of natural disaster or something where the town is just kind of broken down and not in the best shape. So our other main character, the girl, I forgot her name, Kat, she has like a famous like fixer-upper TV show, and they don't really get along. They get under each other's skin a lot. But then obviously like when she comes to help fix the town, they kind of like soften up to each other. This one's a little bit longer of a book. It's 360 something pages, but it looks really good and it has really good reviews, so again, I'm very excited for it. Okay, now the ones that I don't have physical copies of. The first one is A Cross Country Christmas. So this one's about our main character Lauren and her brother's best friend, Will, and they have to go on this cross-country road trip together to get her to, I think, her family for Christmas. He was her childhood crush. I don't think he was like the best dude, because it says he's trying to prove to her and himself that he has changed. So I think like something might have happened. I don't know. But it looks so cute. Again, I love like traveling elements for like holiday books, so I thought this one would be really fun. Next, we have 'Tis the Season for Revenge. This one is about our main character, and she and her like boyfriend or something, like something happens between their relationship and they break up. And so like to get back at him, she is like dating his boss. This one sounds chaotic and fun, and I'm so excited for this one, and I've seen really good reviews about this one as well. The next one I have is The Christmas Wager. This one I believe actually just recently came out. Yeah, it came out September 26th. So there's a failing Christmas shop in this town, and then these two people are like fighting to get this shop. So they have to compete in the Maple Falls Holiday Games, an annual tradition of eccentric feats of strength and skill, and then winner decides the selling price. So they're pretty much like going up against each other for this building, like ownership of this building, I think. So I think this is kind of like a Rivals to Lovers or something along those lines. But it just sounds very fun and exciting. And I really hope I can get to all these in December because it's kind of a lot. So now we're going to be going into my thriller book recommendations for like fall and winter. The first one I have, I just got yesterday and I'm literally so excited for it because I've been wanting to read this one since like last winter, but that is The Family Game. So this one follows our main character Harriet, and she is newly engaged to Edward, the heir of an extremely powerful family. He has tried to sever ties with the family, but with the new like engagement, the family's trying to like get back in his life. So they go, I think, to their family's house for the holidays. I want to say this is over like Thanksgiving. Could be Christmas though, but I think it's Thanksgiving, which is perfect because Thanksgiving is tomorrow for me as I'm filming this. When she is at this house, her fiance's father hands Harriet a tape of a book he's been working on, and she's eager to listen because she is a novelist, but it's a confession to a murder. Suddenly the game is in motion. Feeling isolated and confused, Harriet must work out if this is part of a plan to test her loyalty or something far darker. This might be a game to the Holbeck family, but losing could still prove deadly. I love holiday thrillers. They're my favorite thing. And everyone that I've talked to has said that that book is like super crazy. So I'm really excited. The next one I have is Breathless. This one I've also been wanting to read for a while, but this is about, I think, a journalist, and she's like following along on this like crazy mountain climbing like expedition. I don't really know exactly, but like people keep turning up dead, I think, and there's like a crazy snowstorm. So it's just very wintry, creepy, eerie, snowy, like all the vibes of winter. The next one I have is The Hunting Party. This one is a pretty popular winter thriller. I feel like this is, I think, the one that a lot of people have read already. So during Christmas break, there's a group of 30-something friends from Oxford who meet to welcome in the new year together. So this is kind of over the New Year holiday. They arrive on December 30th, just before a historic blizzard seals the lodge off from the outside world. So this is like, I think that might be a trope in like some winter thriller books, is like getting trapped in a snowstorm. So pretty much I think it is another situation where people just start getting like killed off one by one. Yeah, because it says New Year's Day, one of them is dead. So maybe they don't get killed off one by one, but one of them ends up dead. Like New Year's morning. So one of them is a murderer. So it's just figuring out who it is. This next one, I believe, also happens like over New Year's Day. It says at midnight, one of them is dead. By morning, all of them are suspects. It's a party to end all parties, but not everyone is here to celebrate. Oh, so it's New Year's Eve. So someone has generously invited the village to drink champagne with their wealthy new neighbors, but by midnight, he'll be floating dead in the freezing waters of the lake. So it's pretty much like who at the party did it. The next one I have is An Unwanted Guest. This one is another one where like a crazy snowstorm hits. So the synopsis says a weekend retreat at a cozy mountain lodge is supposed to be the perfect getaway, but when the storm hits, no one is getting away. It's winter and the Catskills and Mitchell's Inn, nestled deep in the woods, is the perfect setting for a relaxing, maybe even romantic weekend away. When the weather takes a turn for the worse and a blizzard cuts off the electricity and all contact with the outside world, the guests settle in and try to make the best of it. Soon, though, one of the guests turns up dead. It looks like an accident. But when a second guest dies, they start to panic. Within the snowed-in paradise, something or someone is picking off the guests one by one, and there's nothing they can do but hunker down and hope they can survive the storm. I love winter thrillers. The next one is a Ruth Ware book, and it is called One by One. I feel like a lot of these thrillers have like the same idea, because with this one, I think this is like a company retreat or like some kind of like company getaway, and they get snowed in at a rustic mountain chalet, and then it says what happens when that company is 8 of your coworkers and you can't trust any of them. So it's an offsite company retreat that's meant to promote mindfulness and collaboration, but an avalanche hits and it says come Monday morning, how many members short will the team be? So the next one I have I actually really loved, and that one is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I think I gave this one a 4-star rating, but this one is about a couple who goes and they're like looking for a new house. They're moving, so they're looking for a new house, and they go to tour this one house and they end up getting snowed in, and they have to like stay there for a day or two. I can't remember how long they stay, but they have to like stay overnight. But crazy part is that this house actually used to belong to someone who just like vanished, and like nobody knows what happened to this person. So as they're staying in this house, the girl starts to kind of like look around because she's like bored and she just like wants to see what's in the house. So she ends up finding this closet full of like old tapes from the girls' like therapy sessions, because the girl who vanished, she was a therapist. So it's a very crazy ride, and like secrets start to get revealed. The plot twists were nuts. Like, I ate this book up. I really loved it. And it was very like atmospheric when it came to like the wintry elements. So next I have some YA books, or yeah, I have 2 YA books. And the first one is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. This one is set in the 1800s, and this girl is wanting to study forensics under her uncle, but since it's like the 1800s, it's like kind of frowned upon for like women to be studying that kind of business. These are all set within, I think, a few months of each other. I still have to read the 4th book, but the 3 that I've read are from like November 1818 to like January 1819, I think. So it's set over the winter months. I read these in like October, I think, and they were like perfect spooky season reads, but they definitely could also be really good like wintry reads because they're set in the winter time. Next, I have another YA thriller, and that is 5 Total Strangers. So this one, it wasn't like my favorite. I did give it like a 3-star, I think, so it was like still enjoyable, and it was still very like atmospheric when it came to like the wintry holiday season, because in this book we're following our main character and her and I think 4 other people. Well, duh, it's called 5 Total Strangers. So her and 4 other people are at the airport, and like everyone's flights get canceled because of the crazy snowstorm. So they decide to all try and carpool to kind of like where they're going, but someone in the car is not trustworthy, and crazy things kind of start to happen like on the road trip to where they're trying to go. This book for me was a little bit slow, and like I just didn't find like the plot twists and all that like super interesting, but again, like I said, it was still like enjoyable for the winter season. Okay, last we have a couple fantasy. First, I'll start with the one that I have read, and that is the Shatter Me series. I don't know if every single one of these books happens like over winter time, but I think a lot of them are set in like a wintry atmosphere. I know a lot of people have already read this, but if not, it's a YA dystopian, I think like 6-book series with like 3 novellas. These are about this girl. Her name is Juliet. She has like this weird power where nobody can touch her without her like accidentally killing them. So she's like locked away and just used like by the government for, a lot of her like older teenage life. I don't know like what else to say about it without like giving things away, but I absolutely loved the first 3 books in the series. I still haven't read the very last 6th book, but I really enjoyed the first 3 and the 5th one. I didn't really like the 4th one, but anyway, very atmospheric, very fast paced. Love the romance. Yeah, I don't know. I would just definitely recommend if you haven't read it already. Next, I have Spinning Silver, and this is by Naomi Novik. But this, I think, is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Oh, I'm a liar. It's a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. This little thing says Miriam is the daughter and granddaughter of moneylenders, but her father's inability to collect his debts has left his family on the edge of poverty. This forces Miriam to take matters into her own hands. There's also Uprooted. I think this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't know if that one's super wintry, but I think that one also might be a little wintry as well. So those 2 books, they've been on my TBR for a very long time, and I really hope I can get to them this season because they sound so good and I'm so excited. The last 2 that I have, the first one is Green Glass House. This is a middle grade, but it's about our main character, and his family owns like an inn of some sort. I think it's actually called Green Glass House. No, it's called the Smuggler's Inn. I think it's usually like pretty slow at this little hotel type of thing, but then all of a sudden he starts getting like a bunch of very random, mysterious like guests coming in like all at once, each one bearing a strange story that is somehow connected to the rambling old house. Objects start to go missing, tempers flare, so Milo, our main character, and Medi, the cook's daughter, must decipher clues and untangle the web of deepening mysteries to discover the truth about Green Glass House. It sounds really sweet. It has a lot of really good reviews, and it got an Edgar Award for Best Juvenile Mystery. So I don't know, it's just, I have been really excited to read this one. This is another one that I've been wanting to read since like last year, so again, hopefully I actually get to it. And then the last one that I've heard is very like atmospheric and good for winter is The Night Circus. This one is an adult fantasy, I believe, and like magical realism, but it's about the circus that arrives without warning. So I think it's like a circus that just pops up out of nowhere, and then it follows our 2 young magicians, Celia and Marco, and they've been trained since childhood for this purpose specifically for this circus, I guess. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing, and the circus is but the stage for a remarkable battle of imagination and will. So I'm pretty sure it's like about these two magicians who have to like go head to head and like win something. I don't know, but I've heard it's very magical and just very fun, and I've just been craving something like that that's just very magical and fun. But I believe that is the end of my winter and holiday TBR slash book recommendations. I hope this gave you like a lot of really fun ideas to add to your like winter holiday TBR. If there are like really good ones that I missed, please leave them down below, because I just love reading like seasonal books like in the season. Even though I'm honestly probably not gonna get to even half of these, it's still the thought that counts, and at least I have them in my brain for like next season too. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and being here and supporting me, and I will see you in my next video.